Hello everyone, I'm Nguyễn Thị Diệu Hà from University of Languages and International Studies, Vietnam National University, Hanoi. Our topic today is listening levels A1 and A2 of the CEFR. So, do your students like listening to English? Before we look at the descriptors for listening skills, let's talk about some common problems your students face. Now, note down some problems you think your students often have in listening. Hello everyone, I'm Nguyễn Thị Diệu Hà from University of Languages and International Studies, Vietnam National University, Hanoi. Our topic today is listening levels A1 and A2 of the CEFR. So, do your students like listening to English? Before we look at the descriptors for listening skills, let's talk about some common problems your students face. Now, note down some problems you think your students often have in listening. Well, there are a number of problems involved in listening learning. However, research findings suggest that the biggest challenge is that learners often quickly forget what they heard. This is due to their limited working memory. The second obstacle, learners sometimes cannot recognize the words they hear because English words are pronounced differently from their written form. Besides, as teachers, we also have other constraints to deal with, such as student mixed levels and the national textbook to follow. With normal class size ranging from 40 to 50, the big gap in students' competence is unavoidable. Therefore, we need to be able to understand our student levels in order to employ effective teaching activities. As well as this, it is not always feasible to strictly follow a national textbook because of our varied teaching and learning contexts. So, adapting materials is an essential part of our job. Knowledge of the CEFR would help us to address the issues we just discussed. In this module, we will look closely at listening descriptors of level A1 and A2 in CEFR. After finishing the module, teacher will be able to understand the differences between level A1 and A2 of listening. Based on this understanding, they can assess their student learning competence and know how to find and analyze listening resources that are appropriate to this level. Now, let's start with level A1. What do you know about A1? What can students at A1 do? As you may know, A1 is the most basic one and is the targeted levels for primary students. The overall listening comprehension can follow speech that is very slow and carefully articulated, with long pauses for himself and herself to assimilate meaning. What are the keywords in this statement? Okay, so the keywords are very slow and carefully articulated speech and long pauses. It means that at these levels, students are able to understand simple phrases or structures such as cardinal and ordinal numbers, letters of words when spelled or dictated, or some basic vocabulary, greetings and polite expressions such as thank you, please, or you're welcome. And they can also understand simple questions and statements in familiar contexts such as family life, hobbies, pastimes, holidays, work, job, or shopping. Well, the first sub-skill of listening at this level is listening to announcements and instructions. The only descriptors for this level is in listening to announcements and instructions. The descriptor reads, can understand instructions addressed carefully and slowly to himself or herself and follow short, simple directions. As you can see, the two activities here are understanding instructions and following directions. It means that they can follow one-step directions in a familiar context to complete a simple task, such as don't talk to the driver, don't spend too much money, or sit down please. For other listening sub-skills, such as listening to radio and recordings, watching TVs and films, understanding interaction between native speakers, and listening to members of a live audience, no descriptors are available. This means that for A1 level, students are not expected to demonstrate these competencies. So, in this clip, we have just taken a look at the challenges faced by learners and teachers, and descriptors for listening at A1 level. At these levels, students are able to understand most basic everyday situations, such as listening to the time, the clock instruction, to pray for something. They can identify familiar words and phrases, names, or the topic of the recording. The next clip is about listening A2. That's all for now. Goodbye.
Hello, and welcome back to the second part of the first clip about listening level A1. As you can see, teaching listening skills presents a series of challenges. It is perhaps the most momentary of all language skills, say, hard to understand, to teach, and even to assess. How do you really know if someone understood when they listen, without asking after every sentence, do you understand? And of course, students are often programmed to respond yes, even when they didn't. This program may also apply to reading, the other receptive language skill, in that its focus is largely on comprehension of another spoken production. However, while the teacher had some understanding of how to teach someone to read in English by teaching context clues, for example, to help students comprehend text, and how do they really teach someone to listen better? However, while teaching listening may seem ambiguous, there are actually a number of principles that apply in teaching listening skills in English. The first and foremost goal of teaching listening is to raise students' awareness. By raising students' awareness of listening as a skill that requires active engagement, and by explicitly teaching listening strategies, instructors help their students develop both the ability and the confidence to handle communication situations they may encounter beyond the classroom. In this way, they give their students the foundation for communicative competence in the new language. Before listening, it is essential to plan for the listening task. First, set a purpose or decide in advance what to listen for. Then, decide if more linguistic or background knowledge is needed. Finally, determine whether to enter the text from the top down and attend to the overall meaning, or from the bottom up, that means focus the words or phrases. As well as that, teachers can use free listening activity to prepare students for what they are going to hear or view. The activities chosen during free listening activity may serve as preparation for listening in several ways. During free listening activity, teacher may assess students' background knowledge of the topic and linguistic content of the text, provide students with the background knowledge necessary for their comprehension of the listening passage, or activate existing knowledge that students possess. They can clarify any conscious information which may be necessary to comprehend the passage, and to make students aware of the type of text they will be listening to, the role they will play, and the purposes for which they will be listening. Finally, they can provide opportunities for group or collaborative work, and for background reading or class discussion activities. Okay, next is the suggested activity for free listening, while listening, and post-listening. Following are some sample free listening activities. Looking at pictures, maps, diagrams, or graphs. This helps students better memorize the keywords or ideas. Reviewing vocabulary or grammatical structures. Reading something relevant. Constructing semantic graphs. What does I mean? making a graphic arrangement of the concept or words showing how they are related, predicting the content of the listening text, going over the directions or instructions for the activity, doing guided practice. While listening activities relate directly to the text, students do them during or immediately after the time they are listening. So, keep this point in mind when planning while listening activity. First, if students are to complete a written task during or immediately after listening, allow them to read through it before listening. Keep writing to a minimum during listening. Remember that the primary goal is comprehension, not production. Organize activities so that they guide listeners through the text. Next, combine global activities such as getting the main idea, topic, and setting with selected listening activities that focus on details of the content and form. After that, use questions to focus student attention on the elements of the text crucial to understanding the whole. Before the listening activity begins, have students review questions they will answer orally or in writing after listening. Then, use predicting to encourage students to monitor their comprehension as they listen. Do a predicting activity before listening and remind students to review what they had hearing. Give immediate feedback whenever possible, that is, to encourage students to examine how and why the responses were incorrect. Alright, here are some suggested while listening activities. Listening with visual, filling in graphs or charts, following a route on a map, checking off items in a list, listening for the gist, searching for specific cues to meaning, completing notes and fill-in exercises, distinguishing between formal and informal registers. Okay, talking about post-listening activities, definitely, as a teacher, you can use post-listening activities as follows to check comprehension, evaluate listening skills, and use of listening strategies. Extend the knowledge gained to other contexts. A post-listening activity may relate to a pre-listening activity, such as predicting, may expand on the topic or the language of the listening text, or may transfer what has been learned to reading, speaking, or writing activities. Well, finally, after listening to the time to evaluate comprehension and strategy use, the evaluation can be comprehension in a particular task or area, or the overall progress in listening and in particular types of listening tasks. The teacher will decide if the strategies used were appropriate for the purpose and for the task when modified strategies is necessary. Okay, that's something about the suggested activity for pre, while, and post-listening activity. See you again in the next video about listening at A2 level.